Spain, 2009. A U.S.-led research team led by head researcher Richard Fruend. Dick Fruend. What?
His name is head researcher.
Head researcher Richard Fruend. Whatever. Believes they may have finally located the lost city of Atlantis. They believe that a tsunami swamped the lost city thousands of years ago in the mud flats in southern Spain. I keep on saying southeast. Southern Spain. Southern Spain.
Southern?
Good
Spain.
Lord.
España.
Just north of Cadiz. Buried in the marshlands of Donna Ana Park is the spot they believe the lost city of Atlantis to be. The team used a combination of deep ground radar, digital mapping, and underwater technology. Hopefully it works better than Giorgio's to survive the site. Oh my God! All right, I have a quote from something.
Great.
I don't know if
Let
it's
her
actually,
rip.
I don't even know if it's a quote, but I have quotes around it, so it must be a quote.
Sweet.
Using a satellite image of a submerged site near Cadiz in southern Spain, the researchers used radar and data mapping to survey the area, which they believed was flattened thousands of years ago. This is the power of tsunamis, says Richard Fruend, who is particularly confident that he found Atlantis after discovering a series of what he called memorial cities nearby, built by what he thinks is what he thinks were, all the words, what he thinks were refugees of Atlantis that had fled the sunken island. That's all I got for that one. So Spain, there's a possible location.
Spain, possible.
We're moving to Greece.
We're going to check it. Possible.
Done. Possible. Another potential area is in Greece, not a Greece. It's not Greece that you cook with, where more recent theories of a civilization that flourished in the Greek islands of Crete and Thera roughly 4,000 years ago. The Minoans, who were named after their legendary king, King Minos, are believed to be...
And their favorite fish, minnow.
They're so tiny, though. That's why they're skinny and thinny.
Skinny and thinny.
Yeah, it worked. Believed it to be Europe's first great civilization. The Minoans built palaces, had paved roads, and were the first Europeans to have a written language. However, at the height of the power, the Minoans mysteriously vanished from history. This has fueled belief that there's a link between Atlantis and the Minoans. Historians believe that around 1600 BC, there was a massive earthquake that shook the island of Thera. The earthquake triggered an eruption that threw 10 million tons of rock, ash, and gas into the atmosphere.
Damn. That's a lot of ash, gas, and rock.
Goddamn right it
Nobody
was.
rides for free.
Ash, gas, or rock? I'll take the rock because there's abundance of it. The tsunamis that followed the eruption were they were large enough to wipe out and devastate cities throughout the regions. This may have made these cities like Atlantis and the Minoans vulnerable to invaders and started their demise. Greece, possible. I got a fun one. I think you'll like this one. Alaska.
Alaska.
No, Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
Antarctica, not to be confused with Uncle Arctica. Another theory is that the continent of Antarctica is where the city of Atlantis was located back when it was in a more northern location. What's wrong? You look confused.
No, I just saw something this morning.
Oh.
Coincidentally.
Huh?
It said that they were able to map a ring around Antarctica. It was like a mountainous ridge ring around Antarctica underneath the ice.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I just saw that this morning. That's weird. Go ahead.
that is kind of weird. Must have been listening to our text messages again.
I mean, who knows if it's true? It's online.
Everything online is true. The book Earth's Shifting Crust by Charles Hapgood states that roughly 12,000 years ago, the Earth's crust shifted. And that's it. So next is... No, I'm joking. This shift displaced the continent of Antarctica from its more northern location to where it is located today. And
West.
cooled it down. Yeah, west. The sudden shift to its current frigid location doomed the advanced civilization that lived there and the city of Atlantis. And the city of Atlantis was thus buried under layers of ice. Hapgood's theory of the location of Atlantis happened before the scientific world had a full understanding of plate tectonics and its movement.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this makes Hapgood's shifting crust idea a less likely scenario. Or does it? Let's dive into it a little more now.
Okay.
Through the genius of Albert Einstein, was one of the few. I didn't mean through. Ha! I wrote though.
Oh.
Though the genius known as Albert Einstein was one of the few that supported Hapgood's Antarctic theory and even aided in the developing the Earth crust displacement theory.
Okay.
So we're traveling to November of 1952. Einstein wrote to Hapgood saying, well, first Hapgood sent him
A correspondence.
a theory. Yeah, a theory. Einstein then wrote back to Hapgood saying,
You're fucking crazy, bud.
saying that the idea of Earth's crust displacement should not be ruled out. Oh God, he said a word, and I don't even know how to say it. Like, that's fucking surprising. A priori, API, fuck me, dog. Should not be just ruled out just because it didn't fit with what people wanted to believe about Earth's past. What was needed is solid geological and paleontological facts. Hapgood then spent the next 6 months gathering geological evidence to support his idea, and then in May of 1953, Hapgood wrote a letter back to Einstein with 38 pages of evidence. And the central focus was the evidence that Antarctica was ice-free at the same time that North America was covered in ice. Einstein replied with, I find your argument very impressive and have the impression that your hypothesis is correct. One can hardly doubt the significant shifts of the crust have taken place repeatedly and within a short time. The two continued their correspondence, with Einstein urging Hapgood to follow up on evidence of Earth fractures. Follow up on Earth fractures, followed by the centrifugal momentum problem. He's using big words because he's Einstein, all right?
Big word.
Jesus. When all was said and done, Einstein was convinced and even wrote a favorable foreword for Hapgood's book, the beginning of which reads, and I quote, I frequently receive communications from people who wish to consult me concerning their unpublished ideas. It goes without saying that these ideas are very seldom possessed of scientific validity. The very first communication we had, however, that I received from Mr. Hapgood electrified me. I added some words in there. As I normally do.
Sure.
I can make this
It's
better.
a bonus word.
I can make this better. I didn't make it any better. I actually made it more confusing. I'm sorry. While we're traveling.
All right.
The next place. I tried to go in order of possibilities.
Okay.
So the second to last places are the Azores Islands. The Azores. The Azores Islands. The Azores. The Azores are the Azores are a group of islands belonging to Portugal, roughly 900 miles west of the coast. So the coast of Portuguese is what I meant to say.
Portugal. The coach. The coast.
The coach. Some people say that these islands could be the mountaintops of Atlantis.
Oh.
I like that voice. The cluster of 9 main islands of the Azores form part of the mid-Atlantic ridge, which defines the division between tectonic plates.
Well, 9 of them. There was 10 of 10 from Atlantis.
That's right. Maybe one of them was a little less higher. I don't know. Maybe
Well-
one was destroyed.
No, the central one. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay. The paper written in 1917 by Charles. Oh, I meant to get this one sounded out. Schuchert. I hope I don't have to say his name again.
Yeah.
1917 by Charles Schuchert, called Atlantis and the Permanency of the North Atlantic Ocean Bottom, discussed a lecture by Pierre-Marie Termier that suggests that the entire region north of the Azores, and perhaps the very region of the Azores, of which they may be only the visual ruins, was very recently submerged. The paper reported evidence that an area of 40,000 square miles and possibly even larger, as large as 200,000 square miles, had sunken 10,000 feet below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. The paper concluded that 1. The Azores are volcanic islands and are not the remnants of a more or less large continent mass if they are not composed of rocks seen by the continent. 2. The holy shit, what is that word? There's a lot of Y's and shit. Tachylites? Whatever. The tachylites dredged up from the Atlantic to the north of the Azores were, in all probability, formed where they are now at the bottom of the ocean. Mm-hmm. This doesn't sound like it's proving shit. There is no known geological data that proves or even helps to prove the existence of Plato's Atlantis in historic times. The Azores are steep-sided volcanic seamounts that dropped rapidly 3,300 feet to a plateau. There have been core samples taken from the plateau, as well as other evidence that show this area to have been a submerged plateau for millions of years. Evidence that has shown that the Azores Islands, just sounds like too many plurals. Anyways, Azores Islands have not subsided to any significant degree, and that some of the islands have actually risen during the late to mid Pleistocene. I don't even know what that is.
This is a time period.
Must be. This is evident by relic Pleistocene wave-cut platforms and beaches, sediments, and that now lie well above current sea levels. I don't like that one. Oh well. Now I get to the fun one. Cyprus. And Cyprus comes in during this section and the next. American archaeologist Robert Sarmast.
Bigelow.
Robert Bigelow. Yeah, I mean, he does everything else. Might as well do this too. So, Robert Sarmast was located. He's right there. Your time to pause. What he believes is the center of Atlantis. A detailed sonar scan of a seabed was done 50 miles off the west coast. Nope. 50 miles off the southeast coast, total opposite of what I was saying, of Cyprus. It revealed that about a mile under the sea was what he believed to be a man-made structures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like 0.9, so it's about a mile.
Right, that's fucking... Huh? Sorry, I'm looking at pictures of what you're talking about now so I can follow along.
Gotcha. The sonar scan revealed walls, one as long as 2 miles long, and a canal or trenches that were about 1,600 yards deep. On a hillside above a rectangular plain on the seabed that Sarmast says is a perfect match of the first known description of the fabled city of the Greek philosopher Plato's.
Yes.
Plato, not Plato's. One of them.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking at the sonar scan of it.
Yeah. He states, I didn't actually look at the sonar scan, to be honest with you.
It's just
I should have done that.
It's just a 3D model.
Gotcha. He states, there are walls, there are trenches, there are canals. We have proven this is a match and cannot be coincidental. The list of evidence is truly enormous. The people whose demise Demise it is not the word. The people who dismiss it are people who have not done their homework. This is all based on real science.